Hey, church family. About 6 weeks ago, I went out to our mailbox to bring in that day's mail, and I want to show you what I found. If you're not familiar with one of these, what this is a summons to report for jury duty. Receiving one of these in the mail can evoke different emotions for different people. For me, it was a feeling of excitement and anticipation, thinking that maybe, just maybe, this would be the time that I'd finally be chosen to be a part of a jury. You see, I've received a number of these summonses. I've been summoned by a court in Burbank, a court in Hollywood, and this was the third time I was summoned by a court in Los Angeles. Each time I followed the instructions on the summons. I phoned in daily to see if I needed to report. I've gone to the jury assembly room. I've gotten into courtrooms, but I've yet to be chosen to be part of an actual jury. And so, contrary to the title of today's devotional, which is How to Get Out of Jury Duty, I wanted to reach out to those of you who are watching to ask if you have any advice for how to get selected to be part of a jury. The last time that I reported a few weeks ago, I went through the process of answering 4 or 5 questions such as what's your occupation? What's the occupation of your significant other? If you have adult children, what is their occupation? Do you know anyone who works in law enforcement? Do you know anyone who's an attorney or a judge? Have you ever been the victim of a crime? Have you or anyone you know ever been arrested? I did my best to answer each question truthfully. Nevertheless, of the 70 of us who were called into the courtroom to be part of the pool from which they chose 12 jurors and 3 alternates, I wound up being part of the group of 55 to whom the judge said at the end of the day, "Thanks for playing, but you're done. You can go home now." So as a result of that experience and a few others like it, I decided to take this item, being part of a jury, and put it on my bucket list as one of those things I'd like to experience once before I die. Now, I know my experience is a lot different than that of many people. I've had a lot of people approach me to offer advice for how you get out of jury duty, but I've yet to meet anyone who can give me advice on how to get selected to be part of a jury. So if you've got a tip as to how to get onto a jury, please let me know. By the way, for any of you who are thinking about avoiding jury duty, a word to the wise. If you're going to lie in order to get out of jury duty, don't make the mistake of broadcasting your misdeed. Our judge told us the story of a lady in Denver who came up with what she thought was a very clever plan to avoid jury duty. She showed up in court purposely disheveled, wearing curlers in her hair, mismatched shoes. The court reporter said that her makeup looked like something you'd wear during a theater performance, and that when the judge asked the entire panel if anyone had a history of mental illness, this lady said yes, and that she had broken out of domestic violence in the military, had a lot of repercussions, and had been diagnosed for PTSD. Well, based on her statements, this lady was excused from her civic duty to serve on a jury. That would be the end of the story, except that this lady decided to phone in to a Denver talk radio program and brag about how she faked mental illness to evade jury duty on a local radio show. And wouldn't you know it, one of those listening to that program was the judge who had excused her. And as a result, this lady was tracked down, arrested, and pleaded guilty to 2 felony counts, which is a reminder of the truth that there's always an afterwards. In Galatians 6, the Apostle Paul writes, "Don't be misled. You cannot mock the justice of God. You'll always harvest what you plant." Now, whether or not you're ever selected to sit on a jury, I pray you'll remember that we have a just God who in the end will make sure that justice is done. Amen.